Okay, friends. Well, great to see everybody. I'm gonna turn this on. Welcome to the ASU Digital Accessibility Liaisons meeting. I'm Alejandra, your host, and we also have Nate here, who's also our co-host. Yay, hooray. So we've got a couple of topics. We want to do a temperature check, and we've got some updates, good updates, not bad updates, which I'm happy about. So, um, let's do the temperature check first. So how is everybody doing?
Okay.
I mean, and the reason why I'm asking is because we've been working and working and working until the last second here to uh let's see. Oops, I did not want Tammy's AI to take over. Um Goodness gracious. Will it be Oh, we'll figure it out later. Anyway, okay. So I wanted to check in to make sure everybody was doing okay because we've been working really, really hard on getting everything to be accessible. And then suddenly, we don't have to worry about it for a little while. So we've got an announcement here that says that the deadline's been postponed for a year. So let's talk about that a little bit. Any
Well,
feeling?
who was it? Jewel is irritated, and I wonder if the irritation is aligns with my irritation related to the year being pushed back. I think for a lot of people, there's a little bit of sigh of relief that they have an extra year to be in compliance. But I think for the most of us, we've worked hard and pushed hard, trying to get in such a state. Um, of compliance that we felt like, okay, here's the deadline, it's going to come and go, and we're going to get into some sort of a routine with digital accessibility. And then it's been pushed back a year. So
Yes, that is that is my irritation.
it's almost like they extended our stress for another year.
I happen to agree.
Exactly.
I happen to agree. So
So, may I just ask, so the deadline, this is Mariana Pinter, is the deadline extended now to 2028 or 2027? I'm trying to understand what's written in the chat.
Yeah, that's a
20,
good
So
question.
it
which
seems
one which one is applies to us?
it seems like it's 2027.
It's
Uh,
2027.
it seems like
2027, okay.
it's my
And April
understanding.
18.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mariana.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, great question. Great question. Um,
That's not bad. I mean, it's like, we can get used to producing producing accessible content. So that's yeah.
well, the good news is that we have an opportunity to socialize
Oh
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have the opportunity to socialize this a little bit more because we we really want this to be part of the fabric of the university rather than just sort of like
Yeah.
check the box or it's an after the fact and then we have to go back and retrofit. So we really have an opportunity here as the liaisons to actually talk more about this with our constituents and discuss the opportunity that we have to learn more and to get, on board with things. There's no rush anymore. So now that we are in the like we've been running and running and running, let's just like in your if you run, you might understand, but keep at pace and just stay there and work on making things accessible. Um,
Alejandra, can I just add that you're absolutely right, but it seems like some of us have been running and running and running, but not all. And so for those that weren't running, now have time to run with us. You see what I mean? Like I feel like I
yes.
can't tell you how many faculty members or how many, coworkers, how many colleagues we talked about it and they had never heard about it. And so now they've heard about it and now it's, in a sense, it is giving us a little bit of a breathing room because it feels like now everybody should know, right? Whereas before, for the previous deadline, not everybody necessarily knew. And so I can't, I'm incredibly relieved, but somebody mentioned in the chat that they fear losing momentum. And I think that's really a common fear that we probably all feel. And what you just said is so spot on that we just need to find a way to not lose that momentum and continue, just really find a way to. So for example, for me, I lead our instructional design team, and this process is now embedded into our QA process, into our instructional design process. Accessibility is part of our DNA now, and so that's really how I'm hoping we don't lose momentum because it's just included in our in our process.
Right. I also appreciate that reference to DNA. As a biologist, that makes my heart sing. Thank you for saying that. I see a hand up. Karen, go for it.
Thanks, Alejandra. So I have all the feels about this. I have very mixed feelings. But I work primarily with third-party vendors for library content that we license. And so I am really concerned that now there have been like major vendors that have been putting so much work into accessibility and these smaller vendors who just don't have the capacity for that. And other vendors who simply aren't interested. And I'm really, really worried about losing the momentum with those vendors because we have to kind of like, it's like, you have to fix this. You have to fix this. But why? The government's just going to change the deadline again. So just it feels like we got towards the end of the race and then the race got longer. So thank you.
Lots of feelings. I feel that. I hear you. I can only imagine what the smaller publishers are going, oh my God. Oh my God. Jewel, you're up.
Yeah, I have a lot of mixed emotions about this. Yes, it does give everybody more time to start adopting it, but considering the current political climate, my concern is that the rollback on the deadline is just time for them to then weaken the requirements on top of, people losing momentum. And natural human behavior is to wait until there's another deadline looming to then also, keep, pick it back up because everybody's busy and everybody has a lot of stuff on their plate. So I think to the other person's point, in that we can continue to talk about it and get people more used to it. I think that's a great perspective and I think a great plan. I just have a lot of concerns about this.
Nate, you're up. I hear those concerns, Joy.
So my feels with Jewel on your comment about the fear of these requirements and guidelines being weakened due to the current administration. Who says that we have to weaken our requirements, right? Just because the government says, okay, well, maybe you don't have to have a double A standard, you can be a single A standard, doesn't mean that culturally for this institution, we don't still strive to continue to optimize the experience for everybody at the institution. So we can still press forward and create an experience in which beats the federal mandate. And that just creates a better experience for everybody. So yeah, just my thoughts.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate that commitment from our institution because that's my commitment too. And I really, if that's how we move forward, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't, that's wonderful. I'm on board.
Mariana.
Yeah, so I mean, I can partially speak of my from my own experience. I mean, it was a lot of work to bring up the courses, and but now I know that if I put on a new material, then what should I do? So I think it's easier to maintain, and I think it's good. I mean, I think at least it doesn't hurt in for faculty to have the due date extended. Right now, everyone knows that actually there is an accessibility check at in Canvas, because some of my colleague was like, wow, is there such a thing? So maybe it will be a little bit like autopilot, like you are doing it, or at least sometimes you check how your newer, like updated course material looks like. So I think it's not that bad overall, like for a faculty. That's but the way as I see. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Karen, you just posted something quite interesting in the chat. I have not had a chance to open it. Would you mind coming off mute and telling us a little bit more about what you're observing, please?
Sure. This is a blog post that someone shared internally in the library, and it talks about how the deadline has been extended, but then it also notes that although the IFR only extends the dates of compliance, the Department of Justice states that in the future they will be considering substantive changes to the regulations which implement Title II of the ADA. But we have no idea what those are. I just found this very interesting, and of course this is from the American Council of the Blind, and they strongly oppose the delay as they should. So.
Chad, go for it.
Yeah, I think one thing that we can need to remember, regardless of the rules, in the end, we have to provide access. And so if we remember that the law, the ADA has not gone away. And so we still need to provide access. So if we can remember that and continue to emphasize that the law is still the law to provide access, and how we do it, we're striving to make it more of a cultural thing. That's just what we do as a university, that we provide access. And so I think just remembering that even though these rules may potentially change and may completely go away for that matter, doesn't really change the fact that we still need to provide access.
Okay. Other feelings that we would like to discuss or share? I guess maybe one question I might have is whether or not people in your units have been asking if this has changed, or if they heard about it, or how we plan to communicate this out to the rest of the university. That might be something to consider more at a higher level, perhaps, Nate, but I wonder how this is looking in your units, if you've talked about it with them or not.
So this is what I've done so far. I posted obviously the update in the accessibility channel. I posted an update in the web community channel, and then I also sent the same message to my team. So I would just encourage you all to just share this message to your teams too, those that you work with for sure, about this extended deadline with the additional content after that, saying this doesn't mean we slow down. We continue. We have a goal. We had a plan. Let's just continue and finish it and get through it, So make sure you tack on that, because I don't want anybody to, all of your points is people tend to wait to the last minute anyways to get anything done, right? It's actually a proven study, right? If you have 8 hours work of work and you're given 40 hours to do it, people tend to do it in the last 8 hours. So.
All right. Yeah, so just so everybody's aware, this literally came out yesterday, and there were some hints about it last Friday. People were sneaking it out on Friday, but it was officially announced yesterday, so don't feel like you were not in the know if you didn't hear about this right away. and we're all learning about it as we go. It's okay. And if you have questions, I highly recommend posting in the accessibility chat in or the accessibility Slack channel to, ask more questions about how to do this. If there's a different way to share this with your team that might be more sensitive or whatever, I'm happy to talk that out with you. Just let us know. We're all here to help each other out. So, okay. Next, we've got a couple of updates from enterprise technology. We just talked about the the deadline pushed back by a year. I want to talk about the topic rubric that Nate has been working on. Recording or not recording the meetings. I want to also talk about that because in some cases we might not be able to record them if, say, like, Office of General Counsel's here. On the other hand, if we've got some kind of really cool talk, then maybe we do want to record or, what have you. I want to discuss that a little bit and where we're going to be storing those recordings. Maybe we could discuss some website updates, PDF strategy, and then the IT accessibility lead role. Okay. So, Nate, I'm putting you on the spot here. Would you mind giving us a quick overview of the digital accessibility liaison topic rubric that you've been working on? And if you need me to stop sharing screen, let me know.
Sure. And I do apologize, Alejandra. I did not look at this agenda ahead of time. I
Overview.
was expected to have this deadline come up, and so I was focused on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
no, it's all good. I have a few of you help me out when it comes to resource materials for this group. And so we've kind of pivoted. So we did the charter right? We kind of put together who are our team members for this meeting. Now we're kind of moving into some organizational things related to this group, such as topics, right? Because I do feel that trying to find a presenter every time we meet it might be a little difficult, but I also want to make sure that these meetings are on your calendars, but we need to bring topics that are conversational enough for the whole group, right? So I've started to put together what I've called a doubt topic and focus and discussion framework, right? And to be honest, everybody, I put this together like in December and then scrambled to do all this other digital accessibility stuff. And so I had stepped away from it. So I'm going to drop it in the chat. This is the framework. So the idea is that we have, I'm going to share my screen too, so you can kind of see bits of it. The idea is that we understand the type of topics we want to bring to this group. And the topics should come from all of us, not just me or Alejandra, right? Should come from all of us based on the things that you feel that what are you seeing in your unit that need addressing, right? Could there be something like, hey, I just came across this new technology, or hey, looks like there's a new compliance or mandate, whatever, and we want to talk about. So this discussion framework is kind of like the guidelines and what's appropriate to put on the agenda, right? And then also covers what's not appropriate to put on the agenda. Like if you're just kind of giving team updates on what you've done or that kind of stuff, maybe not so much appropriate. We want stuff that is and information that can be applicable as much and beneficial to the whole group. You have access to this framework right now. Take a look, throw in your comments, tear it apart. This is our framework, right? So definitely put in your feels and your information and your thoughts into this. And then we'll massage it to a point where we get to where we kind of want it to be. And that's going to be our agenda framework. Then the next step would be, well, how do we submit a topic, right? And we'll talk about that, right? At some point. So let's get this kind of finalized, and then we'll move on to, well, how does one submit a topic? Okay. So that's it for the framework. What's our next topic? Recordings.
Yes, hang
So,
on a second. Let me unspotlight you so you're not spotlighted forever.
oh, I figured people just wanted to stare at me.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay, remove spotlight. All right, here, let me share my screen again. I'm not sure who's not on mute, but I don't want to be that person that mutes you. But if you wouldn't mind muting, that'd be great. All right. Unless you want to talk, in which case, hey, great, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so the digital accessibility liaison meetings, let's talk about those. Um, so recording them or not recording them is the question. We've been recording them since the beginning on purpose because people want to be able to access them later. When I go to look at the logs to see who's been accessing them, nobody really watches them on YouTube. I don't know if you're aware of that, but we can see that nobody's watching them. And I get it. I was like, oh, let's have a recording. And then I think I'm going to watch it and I don't watch
And
it.
that's where they're at because I've gone to look for them and I don't see them on the
They
accessibility
are,
page.
yeah, they're gone. I think we took them down from the accessibility page recently. No, they should be up there. They're on the liaisons page. They're supposed to be there. And then we have a channel, the IT accessibility channel
Oh,
too.
okay.
Yeah. So, but they're linked on the page, and then I usually try to post them in the channel to say, hey, here's the link to hang on, Mariana. I'm wondering, first of all, do we want to record them? Two, if we do record them, since we've talked about all the feelings in here, do we want all those feelings on YouTube? Would we prefer to have them on Media Plus behind single sign-on? I'm curious. Let that sit. Let that marinate. Mariana, you have a comment. And you're on mute.
Sorry. So it is, I am not mute now. So I did check when I wasn't there. So I think it's good. The recordings are good just in case, in case if we miss the meeting, what I missed like during the summer and I did watch it then. So I think it's a good document to go back. I'm taking notes, but my notes are just so sometimes it's just good to have a backup. And whether we can do it behind, I think it might be fine if it's not public on YouTube. So whatever way we can access it, I didn't know the YouTube. I was looking for the media page before, and on through the ASU page. But I think it can be behind. Like we could access only through ASU somehow if we logged in. But the recording itself is good, in my opinion. Thank you.
I'll add a little bit of context to this too for everybody. So Alejandra and I were talking about this. One of the reasons for recording would be the ability to uh, accelerate onboarding for a new member, right? So they can kind of see what we've been talking about, kind of stuff. The other thing too is if there's a training that somebody comes and does a presentation, that's a good thing to record. We can record and stop recording, right? So we do a presentation, then we have, after that, we do like a temperature check. We can stop recording and and have conversation without any of that recording. So there is the ability. The other thing for context too is I wasn't really a big fan of it being on the accessibility website, and two, on YouTube for a couple of reasons. One, every page you create on your site is another page you have to audit for digital accessibility, right? And so I want to minimize the technical debt on the accessibility website. Two, being in Google gets risky, or YouTube gets risky because it has an account with access to it, and there's a lot of people have access to it, and it only takes one person to change the password and then quit the university, and then we're scrambling trying to get access to it. Versus if we take all the recordings, put it into like Media Plus or SharePoint space, and it's behind single sign-on, right? You can access it whenever, and then it's more secure in that manner. So that was a couple reasons why we were talking about, okay, what do we do with these recordings? So I still think record in certain situations and topics and such, but I also don't want them on the accessibility website. So what does everybody think about at least making a step towards one of those things? Maybe no one cares, which is fine.
I
I'd like to still see the recordings because like last time I had to leave early, so I didn't get to see all the entire presentation. But also behind and with SharePoint, it still has to be accessible. So, you know.
So Alejandra is going to walk me through Media Plus on Wednesday. So I've become familiar with it. And then that may help with my next steps.
Yeah, I think it would be the best option to do Media Plus, and we can do Media Plus is nice that it's internal to ASU. We can have publicly available links, but nobody would be able to access the recording unless they had the link, and we can actually put those links somewhere behind SSO so that they are safe and secure, and the captions are pretty decent. So we've got a lot of people with their hands up. I would like to, yep, I've got a big vote for Media Plus too. Okay, so Mariana, would you like to go first?
Yeah, so I have some experience with Media Plus and a little bit more with Wistia. I know that Wistia is doing an auto transcript, but I still need to a little bit update. But actually, it is pretty good, even considering my accent. You know, it's like technical terms are not good, but Wistia gets quite well. So I think I didn't find a way in Media Plus, and that might be my bad, but I know that so Wistia, ASU Online uses Wistia. So I'm just wanting to pop it up as an option. But whatever way, if the recording is there, that's just great. Like I'm perfectly fine with Media Plus. It's just fine.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank you.
I appreciate sharing about Wistia. And I was about to echo what Kenna says. We pay for Wistia, even though Wistia is really nice. It's gorgeous. It has a nice view. It's a nice user experience. The convenience of Media Plus is that it's internal, and we can work with the team internally in case something happens. So it's actually the preferred option. All right. So Nisa.
Hi everyone. Yes, I also wanted to just echo with that. That's true. Like whichever way, well, how are we going to do this? I think whichever method we pick, that's important. For example, this semester I can't attend the like first 10 of the 15, 20 minutes because I'm teaching. So I also agree with the comment Nate made. Like if we are actually sharing the knowledge or teaching if it is like technology related. So it's good to have that posted on YouTube or our common website as well. Because for example, when like a few months ago, when we talked about, I think, equidocs, so that recording is there. So I mean, anyone, even myself, I guided people, okay, that recording is there. They were able to just watch that and learn it. So that was not only for our DAL group, it was helpful for a lot of people broadly. So my other comment was, I don't know how feasible is this, but I know like if we record something, when we make it as an accessible thing, it takes time to just go through these things, and then like enormous amount of time. So can we just simply share the recording and the passcode if applicable on a Google document or somewhere? So we can just, you don't have to wait like X amount of days or weeks to watch the recording to catch up. I mean, like, which is only available for the digital accessibility liaison. So we're not going to just publish it anywhere, but if the folks in this team have access to that, I think they can catch up with the recording, right? Just my request and idea, I guess.
So Nissan, are you saying like right after this meeting ends, like we share out the link and password for the meeting to this group? So you
I
guys have
think
it
that would
right
be,
away?
yes, Nate. I mean, of course, when we want to prepare something in accessible, that takes time. We need to just go through the captions and then correct them, check them. It takes time, right? But for the folks who cannot make it, because this is a huge group, we have like how many, like 700 folks on what is that?
In the Slack channel.
Thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
it's almost 800. The reason why
Yeah.
we go through the details of making sure, all the captions and everything's cleaned up is because we are committed to digital accessibility. So while I realize the convenience of simply sharing out a link, it means that we've already, and to Jules' point in the chat, we've already reviewed the captions. It's what that means. And we can't, and because of the way this group is set up, as much as I would like it to run like ITAC, where we immediately share the link, we're kind of bound by this part of the charter that says we have to make sure that it's accessible, make sure that it's like the captions are inclusive. Not that any other team would not do that anyway, but I'm not sure how to balance that. Well, I hear like we want to get that information out right away. And Nisa, I know you want that recording from the last month. I have your message, so don't worry.
That's perfectly fine. I know it's
I
a
know
giant amount of work.
right. It's a giant amount of work. On the other hand, we got to balance it with like, other people who might want those recordings that use assistive technology to review them. And so I'm not sure where to go or how to manage that.
Alejandra, I might be hearing, whoops, I dropped my pen. I might be hearing two things. One is that the recording is shared with just this group right away. And the other is that we do make sure the captioning is done also for a larger audience, right? That would have access. So there's like, I think there's two parts to this.
Right.
But is your concern that even in the immediate share out that you still feel that is best that we have captions and all that?
It has to be digitally accessible to
finalized.
WCAG. It has to be digitally accessible to WCAG AA, like 2.2 AA or whatever we're working with these days. And then Courtney just pointed out in the chat, and this is part of the reason I wanted to use Media Plus, is that we can work collaboratively. There could be a team of us doing it together. And so it would be faster than just me doing it by myself or Nate doing it by himself. It's having that collaborative option would be helpful. So so it can be both, and like I want it to be immediate. I want it to be right away, but I also want it to be accessible. I want my cake. I want to eat it too, right? So, all right. Let's see. But thank you, Nisa, for bringing that up. That was really helpful to hear that request. I was grateful for that. Okay, Glenda.
Hi, thank you. So I think my reference to ITAC was mostly with relation to that running agenda that they have, and it's linked within the meeting invitation. So when we want to know what was discussed, for example, if I missed the meeting, I rather than going through my email, I just go to my calendar. I know when ITAC is held, and so I just go in there and I click on the link and I can see the agendas. And so they use Zoom, and I understand we probably can't do that for this purpose, but with the passcode. But what would be nice is having those recordings there whenever they're ready, like having the live agenda. But then the link, whenever I'm ready, it's always there, right? It's always in that agenda. And so it seems like that would help just go through one single document where everything is housed. And based on the agenda, I can decide if I want to review the recording or not. And then when I click on it, whether it's ready, accessible or not, if it's not ready, I come back and check in a few days and see if it's accessible, right? I don't know. It seems like that might serve all of our purposes. I don't know. Just an idea.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea. Karen.
Thank you. I like the idea of putting everything on Media Plus. One thing I'm wondering, I don't know if this is possible with Media Plus, is it possible to put them all in a folder and then add a link to that folder to the Liaisons website with a note that it requires login?
Yes, there are playlists. That is true. So we can create a playlist with the link.
Okay, because that would kind of, people have said that they want it on the website. It's helpful to find it there. So maybe an approach where we do several different things,
So overall, from all the comments I heard, we like Wistia, but we also like Media Plus. Wistia costs money. Media Plus does not. We heard we want meetings to be more organized in the same way that, other teams have organized them. So like for example, ITAC has a running agenda with the link to all the recordings, in which case we could actually put the playlist link at the top to make sure that everyone has access to it. And let's see, what other things did I hear? What else did I hear? I heard that
Agenda linked in the meeting invitation, so
Yep.
you know where to find it.
Yep, and then the agenda linked in the meeting invitation. Yeah, because our agendas have been very like we're having a chat about one thing and that's it. We haven't really made these meetings more functional. We've made them more informational. And so I think we're moving towards more of a functional kind of meeting where we're working on things. Like right now, we're working on trying to figure out how to organize this meeting so that we, can move the university forward with digital accessibility. I think that going in that direction might be useful along with, selecting topics. So it's like it's a both and again. Okay, wonderful. Any other comments? Okay, let's see here. Are there any website updates that we need to talk about, Nate? Do you know if we want to share anything out about that?
Yeah. Let me share my screen. So we've made some refresh or a little bit of a facelift on the accessibility website. And so the homepage is new. Take a look at it. So we've cleaned this up, styled it more modern. We threw in the ASU's commitment to accessibility right in the front, so anybody who accesses know like ASU's commitment. We have here some upcoming workshops. We have a link to DQ. If you don't know about DQ, it is accessibility training for all of us, for staff and faculty, and it's tied to Canvas. It's organized so you can learn the fundamentals of digital accessibility all the way if you're a web developer. So it's a very big spectrum of training. We have the link to faculty workshops, and then obviously some quick links to frame, accessibility tools, and so forth. So we tightened up the front page so it looks a little better and cleaner. We also added what's called the Get Help. And on this page, we have obviously the ability to report a problem. If you all are not familiar with that, at the footer of every link or every site, There's this accessibility. It sends you to a form. If you hit a barrier or a student or somebody hit a barrier, they can fill out the form and then they can get addressed. We have a link straight to sales. So Chad, there you go, buddy. And then faculty and staff accommodations visit via the human resources. We've done other things like we've removed some floating footers and some side menus that were just not visually appealing. We still have a lot of cleanup. We fixed a lot of the broken links. We still got to go through that. Recently, for some reason, bullet points started to appear in our menu, so we're working through that. So it's an ongoing process for sure that's going to take a few more iterations, but it's getting there. So, like the training page is going to be updated too at some point. But I know it doesn't seem a lot, but it's a lot for the team and all the effort they've been doing. Any questions regarding the accessibility side?
I just have a comment that the Get Help button that's at the bottom of the page on the homepage
Yes,
goes directly to the form. Is that intended, or should it go to the Get Help page?
it goes to the form because it's report. If you read the little text, report
Oh,
accessibility.
it's reporting. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it goes straight to
Okay.
the form. Yep. So
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Okay, next. PDF strategy. Is there any update with the PDF strategy information?
So I have a few vendors I'm in talks, and I've had to step away from them for about a month to tackle more prioritized digital accessibility efforts. And so they've been bugging me about meeting up. So obviously we have Equidocs today, but we're looking at potentially another solution that would garner a greater adoption with the community. So I'm still just kind of figuring out the vendor, the cost of things, etc. But in terms of the PDF strategy itself, one of the things that I've been trying to share to groups, and to be honest, who attended the IT community meeting on Thursday? Did anybody? Any of you?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
Yeah. All right. So I did talk about PDF. Actually, I was wondering. I wonder if I should just do that presentation right now for you all. Those that didn't attend.
We have about 10, 15 minutes left in this meeting. Do you
All
think you
right.
could manage
I
it?
think I can do it in 10-ish or less. I can't remember how long it took me. All right. Let me get started. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll cover not just PDFs. Um, um, because I covered a few other things. To be honest, this presentation was poorly timed given the announcement of the extension for the WCAG 2.1 AA.
Your Slack messages are being shared on screen?
Oh, well then, would you guys like to see who I've been talking to?
Maybe
No, you
me.
don't. It was Alejandro.
While you're getting set up, I could probably take care of my little announcement anyway. So, I don't know if you've heard, but I changed roles. I am no longer with Learning Enterprise. I am now with Ed Plus, and with that change came some interesting and new responsibilities that are taking me away from being able to support this group. So it's not that I'm leaving the group, but I'm still going to be part of the leadership. I'm just not going to be as much of the leadership as I used to be. So, which is good and is a great opportunity for others to step up. So, I know we have a group of people that are committed to helping us lead this group, and so we'll talk about this later. But I just wanted to share that with everybody to make sure everyone was aware. And then eventually there will be somebody who will be taking over as the IT accessibility lead in that office, in Nate's office. That role is was recently reposted, from what I understand. So, which is great. And then, yeah, that's the long and short of it. So if you have questions about it, let me know. I'm still here. I'm at Ed Plus. I haven't left. And I'm still going to do my accessibility things. My new role it's just senior instructional designer. No biggie. It's the same role, just moved over to the innovation and emerging initiatives team. So
Cool. All right. I will breeze through this as efficiently as I can. So practical digital accessibility from compliance to culture. Obviously, I thought our deadline was going to come and go, and I wanted to talk to the community about having a mindset that will move away from compliance and more into a culture. But obviously, that's been extended, so a little bit premature. Um, so I kind of started off by just letting everybody know that those that have been doing digital accessibility remediation, thank you all. So you all today too, for all your efforts. I do know that most of you that do this work, this is not your full-time job. And yet you're making meaningful progress, and that matters. But I wanted to remind everybody to understand that achieving 100% accessibility compliance across everything is not realistic. And that if you try to do that, you will burn yourself out. And that's not the goal here. The goal is to have longevity in this, and not to think you have to be 100% perfect in everything, because life isn't perfect, because we know that. And so shifting from compliance to culture, right? We know that compliance mindset is reactive. We know that culture mindset is proactive. I don't really need to go more in detail of that. But why does this matter, right? So digital accessibility is not just about meeting standards. It's about creating digital experience that is optimized for everyone. And that's really our true goal. So if we want to talk about the three main digital assets that we have, one of them is web content, right? Your pages, as I mentioned today. The more pages I have on the accessibility website, the more pages I have to audit and remediate, right? So think about the information that you have on your site if you're a site owner, right? If it's not applicable anymore, right? Or not truly beneficial to your org or the institution or your audience, right? Consider removing it, right? You do not want to have that as your list of pages that you want to make sure that are being updated, because as technology changes, right? So you have to keep up with that for digital accessibility. So think about your most impactful stuff, work on that first, and then work towards the major and minor bugs within your sites. PDF. So this is why what we're talking about, PDF strategy. A lot of us may have thousands of PDFs in our units or more. Remedying every PDF is not feasible, right? So you really want to focus on PDFs that are in circulation or have public visibility, right? Those would be the ones you want to remediate first, right? So if it's in use, remediate. If it's not in use, like I said, consider archiving it or removing it from view. You can tag a PDF as archive by just like something like renaming it and maybe brackets archive, right? That tells the federal government that this PDF, is not going to be updated, right? And why would you do this? Well, maybe the source information was a scan of a book, right? That's been turned into PDF. You can't remediate that because it was from a scan. If you're creating PDFs, think about accessibility during the design and creation phase of your PDF, right? So build it first, so you don't have to push it through some PDF remediation tool later. And then, use proper templates and tagging, and obviously your best accessibility practices.
Question, Nathan. Really quick question, Nathan.
Go
If
for it.
we tag it, though, it will still be so the ally tool will still go through it for your accessibility score, essentially, right? Or
Probably
it
if
won't.
it's a faculty, so if it's like a faculty course material, right?
Mhm.
And Ally has access to it, yeah, it will probably score it.
Yeah.
Alejandra, do you have any more insight on that?
Well, I mean, I think before you run Ally, you should decide if you need the PDF or not.
Correct.
Like, just is the PDF necessary? Yes. Okay. Does it need to be in PDF format? Yes. Okay. Move forward with Ally. If it doesn't need to be in PDF, consider using one of the Canvas pages or another format like Word to be able to share the content. Alternatively, archive the PDF. So those are ways to think about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you really only want to focus on the PDFs you know they're going to be in circulation, right? So don't make your life difficult by thinking you have to remediate everything. So same with course materials, same approach with PDFs, right? Prioritize the current active courses, right? Ensure core learning materials are accessible, right? Address high impact barriers, obviously, and then at the content creation of new course materials, right? Think about accessibility when you do that. And if it's not course material that's in circulation or needs to be in circulation more, save yourself some heartache, archive it, remove it from visibility if possible, right? So I know there's certain scenarios, but you want to, the goal is to get into a culture and a maintenance is to reduce as much heartache for you as possible. And one way to do that is to reduce the amount of work that you have to do. And so obviously as a reminder, you are not expected to do this alone. I have provided some resources in here, and I will drop a link to this presentation in the chat here, but this is not exhaustive, obviously, right? But these are the kind of the things, maybe the go-tos that even I go to for information and support related to remediating our digital assets. And then final thought is a reminder that obviously all the work that you all do does matter. Think about progress over perfection, culture over compliance, and impact over activity. Right. So that's the quick spiel I made for the IT community meeting on Thursday. Thinking that April 24th was going to happen.
But it didn't. But it didn't.
But you all had the luxury actually to have ask me questions, which, you know what, 270 people joined that meeting. That one person asked me an accessibility question. I was a little shocked and surprised.
Mariana, we've got a few minutes. You are on mute.
Yeah. So it seems, I'm sorry that I'm talking too much today. It seems like this is just a day. So after praising Vistia, I just would like to share some weird thing what happened this semester. I checked my students' feedback after my A session, and I was surprised that in my Vistia video, so they complained that there is no caption. And I checked, and there was no caption on videos where there was caption before. And when I went to complain around, then mysteriously the captions reappeared. So there was something happening in Vistia the first couple of months this semester. What I wasn't aware, and I cannot, explain what happened, but it is certain that the captions disappeared from videos where I provided caption before. I know that there are changes in Vistia, like, how their site appears, and they always happy to announce all kinds of changes. So maybe it was kind of like went down through the cracks, but it was not a good experience, It's just a sharing, and I don't have solution for that. It's just a side note. Thank you. And I don't know what to do about it. It wouldn't happen again.
Thank you for sharing that. Happy to talk offline more about your questions about the captions and such. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Alejandra, sorry.
Wait, Chad, yes, quickly.
real quickly, sorry, I was just going to make a comment about Marianne, what you mentioned. I believe there's some settings that if they get flipped off, then the captions don't show up. And it's like on the back end, I'm not talking about the user, but the back end. There's some settings that need to be made sure that they're set up properly in Wistia.
Yeah, so the issue is that I did not change it. I was not aware of it. So it might have came up with one of their updates that the setting has changed without any warning. I know that the look of the page is different, and I had issues with that. Like one of my library disappeared like mysteriously, so I had to contact, and it was coming back. But those captions were there, so it was initially. And it certainly wasn't there after I checked it. But now it's there again, and I don't know why. I did not change anything. So I don't quite like these mysterious things. I rather like if I kept informed, but was not, but I'm not now. Thank you.
Thanks so much. If we would like to stand to discuss this Wistia question, please feel welcome. We've got 2 minutes left in the meeting. Is there anything else that needs to be discussed?
I just had a quick question for Nate about the PDFs.
Quickly.
You
Yes.
mentioned you can, because I have older like newsletters that I want to have on my website, and they're scanned in. It is sufficient enough just to add archive to their title.
That's what I've been hearing. It addresses, but when you do that, it means that you can never change that PDF.
Yeah, well,
All
these
right.
particular ones I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
But because I thought I read that it needed to be an archive folder, but it's okay just to add it to the.
I think, yeah. So I was at, where was I? Oh, I was at someplace, some conference, and that was brought up. I think it was actually DrupalCon. Yeah, it was was brought up, and they talked about like renaming it to identify that this is an archived document. So that told me if it's in a folder, Cindy, to be honest, if it's in a folder and only you have access to that folder, then that's fine, right? You don't need to remediate it, right? Or I mean, you can probably still tag it so people don't find it and then repost it. But if it's something you couldn't pull for some reason, like people are, what I'm hearing is you can like add a naming to it called archive. And
Yeah,
I
okay,
believe
okay.
I also shared this with OGC, John. I don't know if you guys know him. And I think he agreed with me too that that was kind of like an okay thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. It should be easy enough to do.
The more information I get and learn, I'll be sure to share. All right, Cindy?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. It's 11. Jewel, I see you have your hand up. I don't want to, I mean, I can stop recording now or I can keep going, I
You can
guess.
stop recording, but I did post the summary of exceptions for archived web content in the chat.
Okay.
And there are 4 requirements to meet that exception. And one of them is that the content is kept in a special area for archived content.
Okay, cool.
And this is from ada.gov.
Perfect.
I can post the link.
Perfect. Great. Okay. And with that, I am going to stop recording. Thank you so much for attending the Digital Accessibility Liaisons meeting. Great to chat with you. Thank you so much for your support. Take care.